that Shoutout Show. This is episode 3, and yes, I do realise I'm wearing the same t-shirt I wore in episode 2, although it was not recorded on the same day as this, and yes, I do wash my clothes. So what is that Shoutout Show? Like I said, this is episode 3. This is where I take the opportunity to introduce to you guys another YouTuber who I think is awesome beans, basically. I open up the floor to another YouTuber, give them 6 to 10 minutes long to use the time on my channel to do as and what they want with it. Introduce themselves, promote their channel. Basically the idea behind it is give you guys out there who possibly haven't heard of it, this particular YouTuber or any YouTubers in questions that do feature on that Shoutout Show. I've lost my train of thought. Where was I talking, walking, what? As I was saying before, my words failed me. It gives me an opportunity and a chance to introduce another YouTuber that I think is great to you guys who have possibly not had a chance to come across this person for one reason or another in the community. Let them do what they want on my channel. If they want to sit there for 10 minutes and just do this, if they want, do whatever they want for the 10 minutes and try and put themselves across to you guys. The YouTuber in this episode is a chap from across the water, across the pond as you say from me. I don't know if it's the north or the middle or what part of the country, I'm not very good with that, it's kind of geography. He's a great YouTuber, speak to him intermittently on Facebook. He's a bit of a petrol nut, just like myself, and he's extremely enthusiastic about gaming, whether it's retro gaming, modern gaming. Comes across as an extremely nice guy, quite happily, one of these YouTubers that you can quite happily sit in front of the camera and talk about a previous gaming experience or memory for 40 minutes, and I will quite happily sit and watch the entire video. I can't say enough good things about this chap. I really do rate him as a YouTuber. I've said to him before in several videos that his enthusiasm and love in general for gaming just oozes out of his videos. But if I say any more, I'm potentially going to leave this guy with nothing to say. So quite gladly introduced to you, and if you haven't heard of him before, a link to his channel will be down below, so please check him out after this video. But I'm happy to introduce to you Dean Thompson from Escape to Gaming.
Hello, my name is Dean Thompson. I'm with Escape to Gaming. James from Monkey Spaz 5000 was gracious enough to ask me to do this video. He's doing a series of videos where he's promoting other people's YouTube channels, and I felt honored that he asked me. I haven't done any kind of an introduction video like this. I do have an introduction video on my YouTube page, but it's very dated. It was the very first video I did, and it's not as polished as it could be. I probably should redo it, but this will suffice for right now. Basically, you know, I'm a 51-year-old gamer. I've been around, you know, since the early 60s, from the days of the board games, and played a lot of them back then, even before the advent of Pong and the video games that were in many of the wonderful arcades in the 70s and the 80s. So I've seen the whole range of changes come in the way of video games over the years, and I think that's what gives me a different perspective from a lot of younger gamers. Many gamers grew up, and when they're 7 to 9 years old, they get a Sega Genesis or a Super NES or even a PS1. I was actually an adult in my early to mid-20s by the time I got my first console back in '87, which was the Commodore 64, which I loved. I kind of came from a poor family, so there really wasn't money for video games. I wanted an Atari 2600 in the worst way, but it just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't going to happen. I usually would get like one, you know, new board game a year and a couple Hot Wheels, and that was it. So I'm envious of the kids today that get every console and handheld and video game when they come out. It's probably good that I didn't have a video game system back then, because I know my grades in school would have suffered because of it. But now that I'm older, I feel like I'm reliving my childhood by collecting a lot of these games and retro consoles. I just recently got a new, you know, Model 1 Sega Genesis and a Super NES, a couple original PlayStation 1s, I've got a couple original Xboxes, and I still have my, you know, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and I also have a newer PlayStation 4, as well as a few PC games on my PC. But I'm one of those gamers that has a wide range of taste. While many people were into a lot of the, you know, the more Mario type games on the NES, I was actually into more of the military sims from Microprose or on the C64, as I had over 100 games on my C64. Many of them were kind of military sims and racing games, and I had other games like Paperboy and Spy vs. Spy, The Island Caper, you know, lots of wonderful fun games like that that I loved as well. So it's wonderful at my age now that I can afford the time and even the funds to collect many of these systems that I loved. Some of them I missed out on back in the day, and some I didn't. I did have a Super NES back in '91. I bought brand new right when it came out, and then also I saved my money for that much coveted Panasonic 3DO that I saw so many outrageous commercials for back in the early '90s. I wanted one so bad. At the last minute, I changed my mind and bought the PlayStation 1 the first week it was out, and loved it. In fact, I went through, I think, 4 of them, and then I also went through 5 PlayStation 2. So I've invested a lot of time and money with the PlayStation products, and then later I bought my very first original Xbox to play Land of the Dead: Road to Fiddler's Green, a game that is scoffed at and panned by a lot of reviewers today, but I actually liked it. Back then, I didn't know it was a bad game. You know, and we didn't have the internet to let everyone know what games are hated and which ones are loved. You didn't have all the fanboy thing. It was just taking a chance. You go into a store and you look at 2 games and you had to decide based off the cover art quite often and the basic descriptions on the back of the box as to what you wanted. In fact, here's 2 favorites. Here's Duke Nukem Time to Kill, which I loved on my PlayStation 1, as well as the original Road Rash. And then I also started off, the very first game I bought for my PS1 was the wonderful Twisted Metal, which I love this, and the sequel to it, Twisted Metal 2. So I've been there since the beginning. And back then, it really wasn't retro gaming. Back when the Super NES came out, it was really about getting what was new and the latest technology. So as soon as I, got the PlayStation 1, it's like, screw this Super NES, and I quickly gravitated towards the newer Polygon 3D games, like Duke Nukem Time to Kill, which I love, and I still love it today. So we live in a wonderful, rich world today of gaming, where you can see the availability, you can read reviews and see reviews everywhere on the net. It's fantastic. Back in 2011, I was interviewed by Mark Bussler of Classic Game Room in a 3-part interview, which I have on my channel's playlist down below. And you can watch that, as I was a major contributor to Classic Game Room early on, donating what was left of all my PlayStation 1 and 2 games and PC games to Classic Game Rooms, along with a tremendous amount of collectibles and what have you. So Mark and I become kind of friends, and then because of that interview, I had people that asked me, dude, you ought to do your own YouTube channel. We'd love to hear the perspective of an older gamer. So I'm here now, and that's what I do. That's why I started Escape to Gaming, because it really is about escaping, and escapism from the world and the drudgery of work and family issues and problems and challenges and car repairs and all that. It's nice to escape via an interactive cinematic experience that you get in video games. Now, one of the things reasons why I started my channel was to champion many games that were kind of, lackluster games, considered mediocre games like Roadkill for the PlayStation 2. Or recently, I just picked up a couple days ago, Shell Shock 2, Blood Trails, for the PlayStation 3. These are games that right off the bat are panned, and a lot of people don't like them, they don't care for them. But I would find the fun in the games, very much like Mark Bussler of Classic Game Room, and I would tend to champion a lot of games like Duke Nukem Forever, even Aliens Colonial Marines, as flawed as it is and as unpolished as it is in many ways. I still found the fun in the game and felt immersed in the the alien universe. So that's one of the reasons why, and the main reasons why, I started my channel. I was asked to do it by many Classic Game Room fans, as well as a few friends of mine that said, Dean, you really know a lot about video games, and you like to do rants and talks. Why don't you start your own YouTube channel? So I did. I called it Escape to Gaming. It's the ultimate form of escapism to me. I love films as well. I have over 5,000 DVDs and VHS tapes and Blu-rays in my collection. And I do talk about them from time to time, as well as other items in pop culture. But to me, it's about video games. I'm currently replaying Mafia 2 again, which I love. So to me, it's all about immersion. It's all about getting lost in the video game, getting lost in the video game world, where you can kind of live vicariously through the different characters or the settings or time periods like LA Noire or anything else. I find it fascinating. I just picked up another wonderful brand new game for my PlayStation 4, which I haven't even installed yet, Metro Redux, which has the wonderful Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, both of which I played on my Xbox 360. So I'm dying to play this. These are the kind of meaty single-player campaigns that I love. I'm all about single-player gaming. I have done a lot of multiplayer gaming over the years, but mostly local multiplayer, split screen on the couch and co-op with friends and family. But I do appreciate and respect everyone's point of view. I tend to have perhaps a higher level of appreciation for this wonderful hobby that we have. So I'm not overly negative. I will point out the flaws and the unpolished elements within a lot of the games that I play, new or retro. But I really believe in looking for the fun in games, and I find it. I look for the gold in games, and I find it. Because to me, I don't believe any game was engineered to be bad or to not be fun. Unfortunately, a few miss the mark, and there's quite a few examples of them out there. But I still can find fun with most of them. And again, back in the day, we didn't have a choice. You bought a game, you were stuck with it. There was no eBay to resell it. You could sell it at a yard sale for 2 cents on the dollar, but you really took a chance. And about a third of the games weren't that great or stellar, but I still would find the fun in them. And perhaps that's why I find the fun in them today and love them. So anyway, that's my little spiel on my channel. My channel is primarily built on a lot of vlogs and rants. Some of them are quite meaty and lengthy. Some of them are 20 minutes, some are over 45 minutes. There's a few personal ones about personal things in my life and my personal interests, but most of them are about gaming, retro gaming, my memories growing up, playing these games for the first time, being in the arcades, the whole deal. That's a huge part of my channel. I love to do game impressions and reviews and unboxings as well. So there's a good range of gameplay and gameplay reviews and vlogs on my channel. If it sounds like something you might find interesting, pop by and check out my channel. There might be something there that you like or find interesting, and I'd love to have you. So anyway, that's my little spiel on my channel. James of Monkey Spaz 5000, thank you so much for having me on here. It really means the world to me, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about games. I mean, I tend to go on and on. This is probably the shortest video I've ever done. So thanks again, James, and thank you all my fellow retro friends and collectors and gamers out there. I love being part of this community on YouTube and within the gaming world. It's so wonderful. Thanks again for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Do you have a monkey in your pants?